Mariah makes a surprise return, and Spoiler decides to flee Genoa City. Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Today on The Young and the Restless, it's a day of surprises for Sharon. Nick has a nightmare, and Victoria urges Kyle to call a truce. At the ranch, Nikki and Victor return to the main house after a tour of the grounds. She never wants to take what she has for granted again. They're both worried about the battle Nick is facing. When they chat about work, Nikki admits she's glad that Lily got Chancellor back. Messing her around never sat right with her. Nikki and Victor both want to move on from past resentments and enjoy their time. Joking, they agree not to let anyone know they are getting soft. She's even willing to admit she's grateful to Matt and Phyllis for saving their son. Both of them smile as they contemplate what's next for them. After their grandchildren drop off some flowers, Nikki tells her husband that they should take a trip to Venice and leave the kids to run things. To her surprise, he asks when they can leave. At the rehab clinic, Nick is having a nightmare and twitches, muttering that Sharon and Noah should watch out because he's coming. In the dream, he bursts into crimson lights, calling out for them, but is in pain and can't resist scarfing down several baggies of fentanyl. Still in the clutches of the nightmare, Nick hears Sharon give a blood-curdling scream, looks up and sees her crouched over Noah on the floor. Sharon announces that their son is dead. Nick failed to save them, as she pounds on his chest in anguish. Nick wakes up, shaking like a leaf. At the club, Victoria asks Kyle to join her for lunch and announces her mother's sight has returned. Kyle, in turn, tells her that his dad is on the mend and his parents have reunited. Victoria hopes they'll all be past the darkness soon, but Kyle doubts that. She urges him to let the war go and not allow himself to be consumed. Kyle makes it clear that his family won't let Victor get away with what he did. Victoria continues pushing for a truce, but Kyle refuses. He also can't understand why Victor's family continues to forgive him. Victoria warns a war will only end up destroying Kyle. They go around in circles, and Kyle admits he can't let go of the rage he feels and doubts she'd be willing to turn the other cheek in his shoes. Victoria is confident that her father's recent losses have changed him, and he won't be out for vengeance. One day, it will be up to them to end the war that their fathers began. On the patio at Crimson Lights, Sharon is startled when someone comes up on her from behind and covers her eyes with their hands. She's overjoyed to discover it's Mariah, who explains that her doctors gave her a clean bill of health this morning. She immediately went to see Tessa, who welcomed her with open arms. Things were a little more difficult with Arya, but once they played a few games, all was well. She's aware she has much to atone for and is determined to do the work. It's hard for her to believe she's out of the darkness and back with her family. Noah arrives, and he and Sharon update Mariah on the Matt Clark situation. Mariah points out she's done terrible things too, and they have forgiven her. Thankfully, her family point out that her misdeeds are hardly comparable to Matt's. Abruptly, Noah announces that he and Sienna are planning to move back to Los Angeles. Sharon is shocked. Noah explains he doesn't want to run into Matt since he's afraid of where it could lead. Mariah understands. Sharon may not like it, but she also gets a given that she refuses to believe Matt has changed. At the outdoor cafe, Jack and Diane get a call from Burrow updating them that Markham was captured and Patty has been sent to a maximum security facility. They're relieved and wish they could celebrate, but all they want to do is plot revenge on Victor. The couple does their best to resist this. Diane wants them to focus on living their lives instead. At Crimson Lights, Noah tells Mariah and Sharon he has a plan for the management of the Shadow Room and won't be gone permanently. He hopes that by the time he returns, Matt will be gone and his dad will be back to his old self. At rehab, Nick resists calling Sharon. He tells himself to stay strong and fight. You've got to be there for them. Upon her arrival at the ranch, Victoria is happy to see her parents together. They announce they're leaving for Venice. Victoria is thrilled, sure this is a positive new beginning. Still at the outdoor cafe, Jack and Diane agree to put a pin in any plans for revenge and take time to smell the roses, even the ones that bloom in August. He tries to tempt her to skinny dipping when Kyle rolls up, eager to talk about how they'll hit back at Victor. Hit him hard. Diane and Jack exchange a look.